Hi, my name is Susan Salpeter, and I'm one of the docents here at the Lincoln Park Conservatory. Normally today we'd be doing a tour to show you some of the plants that produce food for us, but since we can't do it in person, we're going to do a virtual tour. The Jaboticaba tree is one of my favorites. It's a member of the myrtle family and is native to southeastern Brazil. It's also grown in Argentina, Paraguay, Peru, and Bolivia, and there are now some trees being grown in Florida and California. It has an unusual appearance because the flowers and the fruit grow directly on the trunk and the branches of the tree. The fruit looks like big clusters of grapes, which is why it's sometimes called the Brazilian grape tree. The fruit has a tough, fairly thick peel with a lot of tannins and a soft, sweet interior. If it's eaten fresh, many people peel it before eating it so that they don't have to eat that hard, tough peel. Some people say the fruit tastes like Concord grapes. Once the fruit is harvested, it starts to ferment in just a few days, so it's not usually shipped and sent out to markets for people to eat fresh. Instead, most of it is used to make jams and jellies or wine. A nice thing about this tree is that even when it's not fruiting, the tree has a very beautiful bark, which makes it an attractive tree for landscaping. One of my favorites is the cacao plant because it is a source of chocolate. Cacao is native to the lowland rainforests of the Amazon River basins in South America. But early on, the seeds and plants were taken to Mexico and Central America. There they were used by the Aztec and the Mayans in ceremonies and religious rituals. When the Spanish came, Cortez sent the seeds to Spain. For many centuries, only the wealthy could afford to eat chocolate, and they were mostly eating it in the form of a drink. The cocoa press and the process to manufacture milk chocolate, both in the mid-1800s, increased the popularity of chocolate and allowed more people to eat it. Cacao is now grown commercially in the New World tropics, Western Africa, and tropical Asia. The flowers and pods grow directly on the trunk and the limbs of the tree. Only about 5% of the flowers will bear fruit. Each tree will grow up to 70 pods a year, and each pod holds 20 to 60 seeds or beans. The cacao pods ripen after about 6 months. They are harvested and split. Inside of the pod are the beans. They are covered by a white, sticky, sweet pulp. The wet beans are bulked together to ferment for 5 to 7 days, which develops the chocolate flavor. The beans are then dried in the sun or artificially until they contain about 6 to 7% moisture content. After being dried and roasted, the seeds are cracked open to produce 3 products. The kernels and nibs, or cocoa nibs, can be mixed with sugar to make chocolate, like in the chocolate bars we get. Cocoa butter, a fat, can be extracted from the nibs, and when this is combined with milk and sugaring and other flavorings, you get white chocolate. The residual is ground to a powder to become cocoa. So chocolate is one of our favorite foods, and it also has health benefits, as long as you don't eat too much of it. One of the interesting plants we have is the Soursop tree. Soursop and its flowers grow directly on the bark or the branches of the tree. It's native to the Caribbean and to Central American countries. Now, when you look at the fruit, it's green on the outside with little black spikes and doesn't look that appealing. But when you cut it open, you'll find it has little black seeds and a white pulp. The seeds are not edible, but the pulp is. It's juicy and sweet and has a taste of many different kinds of tropical fruits. People taste banana, pineapple, strawberry, guava, mango. So it's really delicious. It's used a lot in fruit drinks, and it's used to make ice cream cones, smoothies, and Mexican ice popsicles. If you want to taste guanabana, you can find the nectar in many grocery stores. You can also buy frozen guanabana pulp and the Mexican ice cream popsicles in many Latin American markets. Guanabana is high in fiber and vitamin C. It is also used in traditional medicine. The leaves can be crushed into a powder and paste and applied to help soothe eczema and rheumatism. And some have used the dried leaves as a tea to help with pain. Most people don't know that vanilla comes from an orchid plant. This orchid is native to Mexico, and most commercial vanilla production used to take place in Mexico, but now it's been moved to Madagascar and Indonesia and Tahiti as well. In the wild, vanilla was pollinated by a specific bee pollinator, but since these are only native to Mexico and they're becoming rare, most growers now have to pollinate the vanilla flower by hand in order to get a vanilla bean. The plant is only fertile for a short while, so you really have to work within a quick window of time in order to successfully pollinate the vanilla plant and to get your vanilla bean. It's not really a bean, but it looks a little bit like a green bean. It's a long pod that has hundreds of tiny little seeds, which could also become vanilla plants later on. It takes up to 6 months for the pod to grow big enough to be harvested, and after that it has to be cured for another 9 months before it can be marketed. So you can see it takes well over a year and a lot of labor to produce vanilla, which is one reason why it's so successful. You can buy vanilla beans whole and use those to flavor sugar, or you can split them apart and scrape the seeds into cream and use them in puddings and ice creams, cakes and candies, or the flavor can be extracted with alcohol, and that's where you get your vanilla extract. Vanilla is also used in perfumes, colognes, and to scent candles, soaps, and other cosmetics. Vanilla beans have antioxidants, which can help prevent cell and tissue breakdown, and they also shield the immune system and decrease body stress. But I think one of the best things about vanilla is just the fabulous taste and smell that we get when we use it. I hope you enjoyed the tour today and hope that you'll be able to join us in person sometime in the future so you can see these plants up close.